We all get exposed to some degree of social engineering every day. I mentioned infomercials before. Every time you see an advertisement, there is a degree of social engineering, psychological manipulation to get you to do something that you may not otherwise have done. If you're a parent, you almost certainly see this every day. I certainly see it from my kids, and they've become very adept at knowing when to look sad or despondent, how to appeal to my sympathies, what my weaknesses as a parent are, what might be the things that they could get me to do in order to give them an advantage. Crying is a perfect one. Can I make Daddy feel sorry for me? Will he possibly cave in and buy me that toy or let me watch that TV show? They may not be overly sophisticated social engineers, but kids sure do get a lot of practice at it. Another place you'll regularly see social engineering is in the movies. So for example, in the 2003 version of The Italian Job with Mark Wahlberg, there's a great social engineering scene where they want to gain access to a victim's house, so they disconnect his cable TV. He calls up and books a repairman who can't arrive for a couple of days, so the social engineer calls back and says, "Hey, we've got a spot available today. Would you be happy to let them into your house?" The cable repair person then turns up, and all the victim can do to verify the identity of that person is look at a forged badge. That's all. Now they have access. But if you're really interested in social engineering in popular culture, this movie personifies it. Catch Me If You Can. This is the 2002 screen adaptation of the true story of Frank Abagnale Jr. This is really worthwhile watching because it's full of social engineering examples, courtesy of Leonardo DiCaprio, who plays the lead character. In the movie, his character is a con man who builds trust and confidence with his victims by being charming before having them perform an action they really shouldn't do. So for example, he poses as a pilot because pilots have an air of authority and credibility about them above and beyond someone in, say, just a normal suit. Victims are distracted by the authority and his charming nature that he's able to engage with them and ask them questions about things like how are checks created and processed. And he's often speaking to young women in banks who get distracted by that charm and disclose information which they shouldn't otherwise do. When you watch the movie, you'll see that as a social engineer, he's always confident and assertive. Even when he's being grilled by the FBI, his convictions are firm. He knows exactly what he's doing. And that confidence becomes part of the charade. Even the FBI get fooled by him. So if you want a great example of what social engineering looks like and how some of the weaknesses that we saw earlier on are exploited, go and check out Catch Me If You Can. In the next module, we'll also go through a real live social engineering attack that someone attempted to mount against me. We're going to break that down and analyze exactly the techniques that the scammer in that case tried to use. That's all for the introductory module though. Let's go and look at the summary.